All right, hopefully this time around it works. So anyway, the basically what I was going to say is about those the material things, basically what we're talking about, um, and the life on this whole world. Basically, everything is here is very short lived, right? And also, it's not gonna last forever, right? Here's the deal: we are think of this short life as development in the womb. We are right now. This life, what we call life, is basically uh, like like when you were your mother's womb, when you were conceived, before you were born. So, so that's basically what it is. What this is, and nothing more. I mean, well, we're here anyway. We are in a temporary sojourn, so to speak, on the very beginning of the rest of our life, which is eternity, essentially. So this is just spark, which compared to infinity is almost nothing, except that is something because it's the beginning, and the beginning is what ignites the spark. In fact, they say that the beginning of the universe, whatever that is, all entire the whole thing, or universes, whatever, if there's more than one. The beginning of everything was a spark that lasted fractions of a second. See, so time in the whole uh, spectrum of things, it's irrelevant. So, see, what the one thing that made the entire universe last to fractions and fractions of a second. I mean, I'm talking about milliseconds. And yet, that's the most important event on everything, or of everything. The most important event of everything is that spark, the ignited existence. It's what, actually, this is scientific theory. It's called the Big Bang. I call it theory because obviously nobody was there. We gotta go back in time and verify it, but it is real. I mean, in the sense that it is very solid, based on some evidence that they found um, out there, the astronomers and so on and so forth, scientific community. But anyway, what I was going with this is just time is irrelevant. Same thing with this life here compared to the whole gamut or the whole existence of ours, which is eternity, is nothing, right? Because what can compare to eternity? However, this is what we decide we're going to spend the rest of our existence, so to speak, the rest of the, which is eternity, right? So here's where we're going to decide where you spend it. And bottom line is either heaven or hell. That's it. Now, what does that mean? What does exactly heaven and hell means? That is a good question. Most people think that they know what it means, but in reality, none of us do. So we believe it by faith, but believing by faith is not knowing all the details, knowing exactly what does that entail, what does that mean. That we will know eventually when we get there. But now, we just have to take the word of the Lord for it, which is faith, basically what it is. But what we know by faith and simple observation is that life is so short. When I say life, I mean life on earth. And that's exactly that spark that I was talking about. just like the one that gave birth to the entire universe or everything that is out there. It lasts just fractions of a second, so life, and yet that doesn't mean that it was less important. It is the one event that gave uh, birth to everything. So it goes without saying, it's the most important event in history, period, of everything, is that moment. Same thing with this life, even though compared to eternity is in time wise, it's nothing, almost, practically, mathematically, you know. But in reality, is the most important event in our uh, history, if you will, in our lives, our existence, each one of us individually. Because unlike the animals and the plants and the rocks and all the other elements of creation, they don't they don't go beyond this. At least so we know, right? That we know of, right? Because God can make it happen, but I mean, normally, I mean, that's what the church teaches, right? They don't have a soul, so they an eternal soul anyway. Well, some of them are not even alive, like rocks and so on and so forth. But let's say animals, they only their plane of existence it does not go past this time space dimension, if you will, which is the spark of temporary life. They don't go beyond that because they don't have an eternal soul, but we do. Because like well, you know, we unlike them, we were created in the image and likeness of God, and God is eternal. Ergo, or therefore, if you will, we unlike animals, we are going to be forever. After our beginning, we're not eternal. Eternal means that we've always been. There's only one eternal being in the entire universe, and that's God. The rest of us, and this is by plain definition, that's what God is. You know, it's eternal. It has to be. It's part of the definition of what God is. The rest of us, we are made in His image, and as so far as once we were created, we're going to be forever. Yeah, I know some people, like, you know, obviously the atheists, they think that that's a bunch of bull. They think that we're like the animals, right? Who cares what they think? I only care about the truth, and actually the ones that are full of it, full of bull, are them, the atheists. So I don't care about what they think. I'll let them figure it out. Because it's kind of funny. It's like a fish. I always compare atheists to a fish denying the existence of water. They'll figure it out that eventually that's what it's been swimming all along. You know, in its entire life, on water. The water that has been denied. So that's the same thing with atheists. But I'll let them figure it out. I don't have time for that. At least not right now. But you know, going back to my original argument. I mean, as far as this about this life, I mean, it's so fleeting, and the thing that have motivated me to think about these things is, you know, what you see that all the time on the news. People, famous people that die, and then you see it happening in your family, and our family. Death is all around us. It's happening all the time, you know. So, so we know. Unlike, you see, again, that's the other difference between us and the rest of the species, the animals, the non-rational beings. Um, we unlike them, we know, we're aware that this is going to be over. They don't think about those things. They just live by the moment, and then they die. which is perfectly fine. That's their nature. Um, um, but human beings, we even people with. I mean, there's actually a lot of study going on that one. There is not a foregone conclusion. Even people that are like vegetable state or something like that. Some argue that they don't know, they're not aware of anything. Be surprised. You'd be surprised. At any rate, no. The fact of the matter is that my conjecture on that one is that even them are aware. It's just that in a way that we don't understand, but they are aware of it. I think. So um, we are, for the most part, human beings are aware. We're the only species in this planet that are fully aware of our um, of our eventual demise, if you will, of our mortality. Even atheists, at least they acknowledge that one. So, but animals don't. Have you ever heard an animal talking about death? Obviously, I mean, some people will argue, okay, some animals know when they're gonna die. Well, that might be true. Instinctively, God through nature have put in their mind a sense of when there's gonna be over, and they get ready or whatever. But they don't know what they're doing. I mean, they might think that they're going to go to sleep or whatever, but we do. I mean, when we do that thing, we actually know that it's going to be over and we're not coming back or what have you. But then, I mean, of course, I mean, if you take the faith out of the picture, obviously you don't know what's going to happen. In reality, we don't know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We all talk about heaven and hell, but we really don't know what that is, and it's okay. That's where we have faith. See, and that's where atheists deny that, but in reality, they also think about that. It's just that they deny it because of their pride. I know, I've been there, done that. So I know exactly how they think. But in reality, the fact of the matter is, they have a point. The point is that we don't know, but they don't understand, or they do not want to understand our point. The one of believers is that that's okay. We neither do I. As a believer, I don't know, but I believe, and that's what they don't want to do. They don't want to set that out. But I think that they do believe something. All human beings by nature, it's our nature. We believe something. So if they don't believe, they believe that they don't believe. That's a belief right there. In fact, it takes more faith to take the atheists' argument than religious argument. But I mean, I already talked about that before. We'll go more about that later on. But the point is, what I was trying to say is that this is like the belly, or the womb, the development of the fetus on the womb, or the human being on the womb. Same thing, the human being on the life on this earth is basically as we are like fetuses on the womb of the planet Earth. And when we die, we're born into eternity, which is the rest of our existence, which is forever. Either heaven or hell. Well, of course, there's purgatory, but that's in between. Uh, that's essentially purgatory is the beginning of heaven, if you will, if you want to think about it. But we need to be purified in order to be in heaven. But anyway, like I said, I already talked about that before. We'll talk more about that later on. But for now, all I want is to just some food for thought about that. And it's the fact that, and the reason why I'm saying this is because you see all these folks so tied up to the things of this world, and they don't want to go to church, or they don't have time for prayer, they don't have time for that, all blah 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 blah. And this is not, I mean, not just atheists. I'm talking about also religious people that claim to be religious or whatever, faithful or believers. But in reality, they act differently. They act no different than the atheists. They act differently than Jesus and the true believers. That's what the Lord said. Not all says, Lord, Lord. shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who do the will of the Father. And the will of the Father is actually listen to him and do exactly how he says. And he says very clearly, uh, seek first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and everything else shall be added on. And that's exactly what he meant, you know. And this is something easier said than done. People talk a lot about this, but then when they go back, it's just the same to them. I mean, it's more important to go and even to go to the bank or go to the office, go to work and everything. And again, none of those things are by themselves bad. But then, as far as going to church, if they can, if it is not too inconvenient. Otherwise, who cares? By the way, I've done it. Lost count of many times I've done that myself. But think about it. If what I just told you before this video is true, which is true, it's not my word, by the way, it's the word of God. It's the teaching also of his church. There's only one church, by the way. If it's true that this is only a spark, the beginning of the rest of our existence, which is eternity. That's the only thing that is important about this life on earth, is where you decide where you're going to spend eternity, which is the rest of your existence. Other than that, it's just what it is. And that focusing on the eternity, on your eternity, which is most of your existence, going to be in eternity. On the other side, then it makes only sense to focus on that from the very beginning. From here. So everything that you do here should be aimed or designed, if you will, towards looking into eternity, towards eternity. Everything that you do here should be aimed at where you're gonna be want to spend eternity. And yet, how many people do it? Myself included. Sometimes, but not all the time, as you should. Focus on that, on eternity. So that's why, I mean, you see all these people going, back and forth here and there, everywhere, and then a lot of noise, blah, 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 and everything. I got to make money. I got a retirement plan. I got to do this, or I got to do that, blah, blah, blah. Church, only if I have time. Prayer, only if I have time. We've got it backwards. You see, animals, it's okay. This is where they belong, period. No, nothing else. But we're not animals. Like I said, we have a soul, an eternal soul. Their soul is limited to this planet, to this material universe. Ours is our destiny. If you that's the only destiny I believe in, is eternity. Period. That's where we're heading, whether we like it or not. By the way, so my atheist brothers and sisters, I mean, hey, sorry, it is what it is. Well, I'm not sorry. I mean, that's the same, but it is what it is. I'm never sorry about the truth. So no, I mean, this is a spark. So where you are going to spend the eternity, which is what you hear in this very brief moment that's the only reason what you hear is to decide where you're going to spend the rest of your life. It's like a child on the womb. That's exactly what it is. What is the reason why the child is in the womb? Is in order to get him or her ready to go outside the womb eventually and face the reality of this world. Same thing for this world. We are in the womb of some call it Mother Earth, which is Earth. We are in the womb of the Earth. And then from here, then we're going to be born into eternity when we die. So that death is actually a birth. It's the birth into the real reality, which is eternity, which is exactly what we were born for. And that's it. After that, there's nothing else. That's eternity. That by definition, eternity means it's forever. And that's it. So you're forever going to be in heaven or in hell. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no again. I mean, some people think of purgatory and no, purgatory is not an in between. Purgatory is a temporary. It's a temporary thing. It's a temporary state. That's all to purify you in order to get ready to get to heaven. Again, nothing. The only purpose of purgatory, remember, is because nothing impure shall enter the kingdom of heaven. That's it. That's it. Other than that, it's just so. Purgatory, in other words, is part of heaven. You can think of it that way. So it's either hell or heaven. That's it. So that's the reason why we're here. So again, the bottom line here is stop focusing too much and over concerning yourself too much with the things of this world, because at the end of the day, just like a baby in the womb, it's not going to stay in the womb forever. So at the end of the day, we're not going to be in this planet forever. It's only going to be, compared to the eternity, it's just a spark. That's almost nothing. The only thing that makes it something is that this spark, just like the spark of the Big Bang, is the one that basically determined the rest of your existence, which is eternity. You do the right thing, once you're here, this brief period of time, which is life on earth, you did good. In other words, you obeyed the commands of the Lord, you end up in heaven. Screwed up, you ignore, you go la 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 la. I don't care, get out of my way. I just want to make money, and so on and so forth. Focus on the things of this earth, couldn't care less about your spiritual side and everything, and to not decide not to listen to the commands of the Lord, then you go to hell. As simple as that. Talk to you later. God bless.